Well, folks, Tonga against Australia A has started what is going to be a pretty hectic day of Rugby Union Pacific Nations Cup. 39 points to 22. The Aussie A boys get the job done. When we were still waiting to see what happens with the Fiji and Samoa game a bit later on to see actually who gets their hands on the trophy. But the Aussie A boys have certainly done what they could to keep themselves in with a shout. It was the Tonga boys that started off with a bit of a hiss and a roar. Good ball try through Moli, backing themselves when they had a penalty. Havili puts the kick 5 metres out, so pretty sweet. Missed conversion though, but 5 points to nil. The Aussie boys replied with the penalty about 5 minutes later. But interestingly, with the Tongan effort this week, it's 3 tries and 3 more tries. I know they shifted up a lot of the players. They're trying to keep the team, I would guess, relatively fresh for the World Cup qualifying match against Hong Kong next week. So there was a little bit of that kind of lack of cohesion. I know Willie Losse in the commentary kept mentioning how long these guys have been in camp, but I guess game time is something different. And with all the changes, it was maybe to be a bit expected that the handling wasn't quite up to their kind of normal standards. It was more like back to that first week, if anything. Like second week was a big improvement, but first week was kind of bad. This week was maybe a little bit more on that side, but if one thing is for certain, the maul is pretty good. Tonga were under a fair bit of pressure though when who was it took the Jock Campbell kick and put his foot in touch. I forget who it was, but that gave themselves a bit of territorial pressure, and the Aussie A boys converted. Dalgunu goes over for the first try. Good finish, kind of aerial finish from him. Good wingers try to get himself, make sure he's not got a foot in touch. Good carry from Peach in the build-up as well. So the Aussie boys go in front, and they're not going to relinquish anything from this point. I mean, Peach only just managed to ground a ball what the Tongan boys had put through. Like, there was quite a few times when the Tongan guys did have their chances, but couldn't quite convert, barring them all. Like one of them was a little dinking kick through. Peach gets like a fingertip on it to kind of force it in his own end goal, but it's... Do I want to call it lucky? Like he had enough time to get a better hand on it than what he did, but the bounce of the rugby ball can be a funny thing. Tonga 26 minutes, opt for a 3 because they've been unable to convert. Like I mentioned, they've had a bit of pressure on. Peach's hand kind of stops them from scoring a try, but they missed that penalty, which is kind of an unfortunate one. Havili kicking the goals. Not really his normal job when he's playing for a club team, but just one of those things, isn't it? Fiver was doing the kicking last week, but he was on the bench for this one. I put that the Aussie AU team, the Aussie A team, was struggling to convert with some pressure down Tonga's end, but then Tonga couldn't really exit either. It was a little bit of accommodative errors towards the end of the first half. Eventually, the Aussie guys ended up with a scrum about 5 metres out, and they still couldn't convert. They ended up just kind of withdrawing the attempt, then opting for a 3-man. Like, you're better off getting some points than nothing. But then they conceded a penalty at the restart, which was like a big waste, given how much pressure it took to get those 3 points. So they conceded 3. But then Tonga also poor from that restart. Both sides will be looking the reviews about the way they were handling these restarts in the first half. Gives the chance for the Aussies to finish off the half with a try. It's Pollard to Dalgunu to Gleeson, 16 points to 8 lead at halftime. So I don't think either coach will be that happy with how clinical they were in the first half. A little bit the case of kind of some points that went begging out there. Second half, the errors really started to mount for Tonga. Lineout's not straight. They're letting the high ball bounce. That one is a really soft try for Hamish Stewart. Like high ball from Donaldson, just bounces, and Dalgunu pounces, gets it to McWright, gets it to Stewart, and it's a pretty straightforward one. 23 points to 8 at that point. Looks like it's going to be a real hiding, but thankfully Tongan scrum gets themselves a penalty. This big Ben Tamiafuna, they get themselves a touch finder 5 metres out, and the maul goes over again. So Morley gets his second, so good comeback after that. Line-out was not straight that long before that. So, good play from the Tongan boys. But then the Aussies kind of hit back again. There's 2 players I feel like that, one forward and one back that really stick out is Dalgunu. I know he's kind of stuffed up a few times when he's been the Wallaby. Sometimes his handling has let him down for the Reds, but he does look class, doesn't he? He did look really good in this game, and Fraser McCright. I know they're both Reds boys, but McCright is just so busy. It's really unlucky that he's got Michael Hooper ahead of him for the Wallabies proper, but this was a good 3-game series for him. He's got a part in kind of some good carries for the Aussie A boys before they get a scrum. Gleason down the right wing beats about 3 tacklers. One of them's Havili. Just kind of swats him away, which was kind of poor D. Offload, Dalguna goes over 32 points to 15. Again, it's looking like it's going to be a real smashing, but I mean, the Tonga Maul gets one more. It gets one more before the game is over. Like the backs and whatnot just can't convert. It always ends up with a knock on or just, coughing the pill up. But that Maul, they've been practicing that because they get that. Comes back to a 10-point game with like 10 minutes to go. If Tonga scores next, can it be interesting? Well, not really, because Halo gets yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. One of those ones where you just stick a hand out. So no halfback. And then Tuttle is able to snipe over pretty much in the resulting play. There's no opposite halfback from the other side of the ruck, so he just snipes, man. And 39 points to 22. Not long later, essentially the game is over. So yeah, man, pretty high scoring game. Pretty, like I said, a bit too many errors, I would say. It'd be nice to see the stats once they're in about kind of how many turnovers conceded and whatnot there were, but there were certainly some good tries. If I was Hong Kong, I would certainly be practicing maul defense for the World Cup qualifier next week, because that was looking pretty deadly. But yeah, like I said, we await the Fiji and Samoa match for this competition. That should be a really interesting one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know your thoughts. It was on Stan and Sky here in New Zealand, so Stan in Australia. And then for the rest of you guys who are interested, on World Rugby's website, just search Pacific Nations Cup on World Rugby's website, and there's usually a stream or a replay. So happy days. You guys let me know your thoughts, and talk to you guys again soon. See you later.